I just nodded off.
Actress who played Patsy is an ageless beauty who has also been a model, TV presenter, campaigner, single mum and happy granny, whose life is set down in her autobiography, No Room for Secrets. Ladies and gentlemen, Joanna Lumley. It's a lovely necklace.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
I bought it to wear here tonight.
Did you?
Yeah.
For me?
For you.
Oh.
I was that
That's
scared.
nicer than the cat, you see. That's nicer than the cat. Yes. See what you get if you treat me properly. Beautiful women wearing lovely things.
He's losing it, isn't he?
I'm not. No. Listen, that wonderful creation you had there, I mean,
Yeah.
what I can never work out, maybe you've got the answer to it, I mean, is that what women are frightened of becoming, or what they'd rather like to be secretly, do you think?
I think part of us kind of like that Patsy
I think
person.
so, too, yeah.
Because we all have to do responsible good things and not park on pavements and stuff like that. But Patsy can do whatever she wants.
That's right, doesn't care.
No,
Doesn't
she
give
doesn't
a
care.
damn.
It was really nice doing that shot because I had to kind of creep in. We did it live in front of a studio audience. And somehow, when they were distracted and filming something on another set, I was slunk in and spread out on the table, and then they just dumped soot on me. And just the bit of my face that wasn't there. There's soot, 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 on, until I was just a little mass of cinders.
Is that why you became an actress? You like that thing? Is this why I became an actress?
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true that you turned that part down, or nearly did turn it down?
I was so afraid. It was so strange. I'd never met Jennifer. I'd met Ruby Wax, but I hadn't met Jennifer, and I'd seen her and Dawn doing
Jennifer Saunders.
Jennifer Saunders. And the script arrived, and they said, we'd like you to play the part of Patsy. So I accepted it. I mean, I didn't say... It wasn't as though it was an audition, but they said, we'd like you to come along and work a bit with Jennifer, doing a scene in a taxi in the very first episode. And Jennifer, who's fantastic and a really brilliant friend of mine, is completely impossible at kind of communicating what she wants. And she's just sort of going, and I didn't know what voice, and I didn't know what pitch to do it, and we just sat there, and I sort of said the lines, and I got humbler and humbler, and I went home and I phoned my agent, and I said, look, I love her, and I think she's fantastic, but can you get me out of this, because I don't know what she wants me to do, and I don't think I'm doing it right. And I went on and on and on. I just said, please, I really just think, and I'll let her down, and they won't laugh, and it'll be terrible. My agent said, look, it's only a pilot. It probably won't even go ahead, so just do it. You know?
And, of course, you became gay icons.
That was nice.
Wasn't it?
It was
You're
nice.
adopted by... You say in your book that the latest volume of autobiography, I love
I'm
that.
so old, I've got on to my
latest
second
volume,
one.
yes, my second volume.
That in fact, that there was one episode where your character was clinched by the gays in America.
It was when we went to Morocco. We went on a fashion shoot, and Safi tagged along, and we actually managed to sell her. Patsy managed to sell her for some guldrum or whatever the denomination of money is. But in that, they referred to the fact that Patsy had been in Morocco before and had an operation, had something stitched on, which lasted for about a year and then dropped off. But so, and also, then we saw a flashback of her dressed in sort of Sergeant Pepper clothes with a sort of slight moustache and very short hair, feeling quite cool, smoking an enormous spliff. As we realised that Patsy had a sort of another life.
But this, I mean, it's interesting that you had these two characters who kind of defined your acting career, haven't they? Two blondes, Purdey in the 70s, and then Patsy in the 90s. There's a lovely story in your book where you talk about a special fan of Purdey, Nelson Mandela.
That was so extraordinary because when we did the Avengers, it was when there were sanctions out with South Africa. But because the Avengers, complicatedly enough, was funded by French money, it was owned by a French company, even though it was clearly a British show. And so it didn't fall under those sanctions. And so it was shown, the new Avengers was shown. It was about the only show that was made this last century, except for I Love Lucy, that was showing in South Africa. So it was a huge, huge show. And down on Robben Island, when Nelson Mandela was in the middle of towards the end of his terrible incarceration, they used to be allowed to watch television, apparently. And much, much later, after the sanctions had been lifted and I went back down to South Africa, I met one of his not cellmates, but really somebody who'd been jailed with him, a man called Tokyo Sequale. And he said that they were on Robben Island watching television one night, watching the new Avengers, and Purdey had got into some terrible scrape. I was locked up in a coffin or being chased by a giant rat or some cybernaut was going to kill me or something. And of course, Purdey, the invincible, got out of it. And apparently, well, he told me that Nelson Mandela said to him, if Purdey can get out of that, we can get out of this. Now, stop it! I knew he'd laugh. I knew he'd behave badly. He diminished my story.
No. Did he put a wig on?
No, he didn't. He didn't try to be Patsy. I mean, Purdey. He just felt that, you know, kindred spirits.
I have a plan.
Quite right, yeah. I like that story, anyway. I like that story. Now, what about, you talk about the Swinging Sixties in the book, the time when you were in London, and you became a model because RADA turned you down.
Yeah.
The scar that you carry.
Oh, it still burns me now.
Does it?
I do fundraising for them now, but I think it's too late for them to give me sort of an
Why did they turn you
old
down?
age.
Did you just say you weren't good enough?
Well, I wasn't. No.
You weren't good
I was
enough.
shocking.
Were you?
I was so bad. I'd rehearsed a speech from Joan of Arc, and I did it as though I was Joyce Grenfell locked in a broom cupboard. I was going, oh, my lord, I am stuck here, but soon I shall escape, and the doe farm will let me out. I mean, why did I do that? But something made me feel that this was just right. I could hear them, even their heads were done. They just said, next. And I went, I was imagining that there was a... They said, next. And I went, thank you. I can't act. And I didn't dare try for another drama school, because if one other person had said, you're hopeless, I think I wouldn't have had the nerve to go on.
So you became a model and got into acting through...
I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't even type. I still can't.
But I mean, you mentioned it again in the book, that being a model was kind of not the best way in it would appear to acting, because the acting profession looked down upon models.
Very much. It doesn't
Why?
so much now. I don't know why. It meant that, well, models, they always saw models as complete airheads, people who just did that and didn't ever speak. And I suppose, to a certain extent, that's all we did do. But burning away in my little breast was burning ambition. And I thought, well, I'll stick with modelling for a bit, because what I will learn about is lights and makeup and, I don't know, movement and hard work, punctuality, some of the things that would be useful. Not speaking, obviously. I didn't learn speaking.
You're doing all right. I've understood every word. So
What were the... I mean, were the 60s... See, I was a bit too old for the Swinging 60s. I mean, I was. I mean, I'm about 10, 12 years older than you are. So I was at that age where the family and all that sort of thing. So the Swinging 60s, I observed it kind of passed me by. But from your perspective, I mean, were they special? Was it a wonderful time?
It seemed, I don't know, I mean, distance could lend enchantment, but it seemed that whatever you wanted to do, you could do it. You could have a go at it. People used to just prop their door open onto the street, hang up a few tired dresses and call themselves a shop. And some of the shops are so full of these kind of incredibly, like, stone people. You go and you go, oh, look, fantastic frock, can I buy it? And they go, yeah, look, just take it. I don't know whether to... I mean, a little bit exaggerating, but not much. And you borrow clothes for photo shoots, you know, trying to get your model book together. And you go, can I, like, borrow this, you know, just for like, photo shoot, because I'm a model? And they go, oh, yeah, take it, and you can't keep it. I mean, they're all closed, because, of course, in 6 months they had no stock and no money. But it was very, very nice. There was a feeling that there were so many films being made. There was so much work going on. There were so many clubs being opened, and there was, you know, rock bands were huge. And in those days, when a restaurant opened or a club opened, all the Rolling Stones, all the Beatles, all the Four Tops pitched up.
Yes.
And there wasn't all this huge and now rather exciting kind of mass of heavyweights keeping them off. They got out of cars and walked into places,
Yes,
you know?
yes, that's right.
It was fantastic.
The other thing about the 60s was that if you went into a movie as a beautiful young woman like yourself, you got your kit off.
You had to.
You had to.
You didn't really have to, but at my level, you had to.
It was sort of obligatory,
It
was
was
it?
mandatory. And once Vanessa Redgrave got the kit off in Blow Up, we all went, well, I mean, if Vanessa's done it, you know, we'll all go. And we all looked shocking, because in those days, nobody trained.
No, they weren't toned, were they?
No, we weren't toned or trained or tanned. The 3 T's were missing. So we just sort of blobbled out of our things. I mean, it was all a series of what the window cleaner saw kind of stuff. And we all sort of skipped it, and it was all very chirpy. It was all chirpy, cheeky stuff.
Yeah. What about love scenes? Did you ever get used to those?
No, I couldn't. I just couldn't. And Nigel Havers, who was a friend of mine, we had to do a scene together much later when I was completely grown up, and nothing was going to show. But nevertheless, I think I had to have a naked back always means naked front, incidentally. So actors, if it says just we see her naked back, it'll be naked front as well. Anyway, Nigel and I were in bed together, sort of, you know, quite cool, sort of having a sort of cigarette in those days, you know, just smoking and talking. No, did you? No, I saw Sam the other day. No, did you? What, Lucy was there? Yeah, they said, and okay, and action, and immediately all this sort of kissing. And no top on, you're with a friend, without your top on. Kissing them on the lips, it was shocking. I mean, I've been kissing Ricky backstage.
Have you? On the
yeah,
lips?
but it didn't matter, I've only met him just now.
She drugged me. She drugged me.
She dropped it.
I was so worried about it. I said, which way are you going to go? Because I was just imagining nutting her. Just like the lovely Joanna Lumley. Oh, it's oh, fuck, sorry.
I mean, you mentioned in the book, you talk about being a single parent at that time, which must have been really tough. I mean, you must have been poor.
Yeah, but I mean, poor, you know. I mean, the odd thing is, Michael, is also in the book when I do all these sort of travelly bits, which I've stuck in there just for a real reason, which is that I have been to parts of the world where poor is really poor.
Yes.
So even though one was skint, it's sort of different from being poor. You know what I mean? You have to walk because you can't afford the tube.
It gives you a perspective.
And I had to stamp on sheets in the bath because I couldn't afford the laundrette. It's actually quite funny. And I had an open fireplace, and I can remember it was terribly cold, and so I chopped up a clothes horse and burnt it. Put all the towels on the floor. I mean, but that wasn't poor, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was just brassic.
Yes.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
And I think that a lot of single parents, whether they're divorced or single or widowed or whatever it might be, find the problem is always the logistics. If you're working, when do you collect them from school? How do you do that? What do you do in the holidays when you've got to get a job? Particularly as an actor, you've got to get a job and take it when it comes, you know.
But now, you're a granny.
Yeah.
And I get the sense from the book, again, when you write about it, that you find it a very blissful granny.
Yes.
Yes. I think you're going to go into a batty granny myself.
Extraordinary shock, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Sudden turning, the sudden...
Is he talking like Ali G?
No, not like it. Not batty boy. No.
No, but there's a nice line again where you say that you know you're going to invent a wheelchair. Yes. Where the legs rise up,
yes.
So people don't have to look down to you and sort of, you know...
That's right. Well, it's actually always struck me, because I've got lots of friends in wheelchairs, and it's sort of... It seems that when you talk, either you just show that you're not... that you don't even notice they're in a wheelchair, so you go on talking, but the fact is their head is down there. So either look down at them, which is a horrible feeling to look down like that, or you kind of crouch in a strange position, or sometimes when you're wearing shoes and skirts like this, not pretty. Like
I get them out and sit down and put them on my lap.
OK, well, the book's called No Room for Secrets. It's an intriguing book, because there are also shadowy figures in this book.
Yes.
You know, that you loved, like your father.
Yes.
Who died.
Yes.
And like your ma.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of stories that need to be told.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you'll tell them...
And all kinds of people and all masses of... Masses. That's the third book, Michael.
That's the third book. But what is fascinating about the second book, actually, is your account of a haunting, of a ghost story. Now, I'm not going to ask you about that now. I'm going to save this to the end, because I love ghost stories. As people go to bed at night, we should tell them... it's a true ghost story.
Yes, it is.
It is a true ghost story. And it's wonderful, chilling. I saw a ghost once, too.
Did you?
I'll tell you about it. Joanna Lumley. That was lovely.